Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Soo, your East Oakland advocate. Well, I've been out, and just the other day we had a utility crew right outside. We had PG&E doing some street work here, and as you know, uh, because of all the criminal activity here in Oakland, that all this the different utility crews, whenever they're working here in Oakland, they have a police escort because the likelihood of very, very expensive equipment being stolen is very great because these thieves are stealing everything. They're stealing contractors, trucks full of equipment. And here we have the utilities, PG&E, EV Mud, with trucks with probably nearly $50 to $100,000 in equipment, not to mention the crews that could be hurt by gunfire if they were to be held up. The crews don't have any way to stop a robbery, and so uh, that takes away from protection for you and me. When we call 911 and need a police officer, well, on any given day, how many utility crews are working on the streets of Oakland? And there's a police officer assigned to that work crew that's working in the street or in the neighborhoods, and they're there to protect the workers. And so we don't want too many problems with the utilities in Oakland. Otherwise, that could further deplete our police force. And I know our streets are really dangerous, but this has to end. And because tying up police officers to babysit uh, the possibility of a utility robbery is very great, but we can't continue on like this because that takes away from the safety of the city. And then on top of that, we have a lot of home invasion robberies still going on, and they're just targeting different areas. Uh, I remember growing up, we always had dogs, and our dogs uh, pretty much swayed the robbers and thieves away from our home because you see a big dog looking at you from the other side of the door or through a window. Most thieves are going to go try another home. And that's why I've always had protection and guard dogs throughout my life. And there have been times where I didn't have a protective type dog, where I had a show dog, which was my Keys Hound back in the 80s. I also had a hunting dog, a black lab. So, but that black lab turned into a great protection and guard dog for my parents' home because he was um, brutalized by burglars in my parents' home when he was very young. He was uh, barely 6 months old, 5 months old, and these thieves, rather, they came in and they they had to be kids because the things that were taken and the damage that was done said that they were teens. And then my black lab, they nearly killed him. And my mother came home from work uh, that day. I was keeping the dog at my parents' place because I couldn't keep him at my place at the time, and he was needing a lot of attention because he's still very young. And um, so anyway, the thieves, the burglars that broke in, the kids that broke in, they nearly killed him. What they did, my dad had a lot of sacks of concrete in the garage, and so what they were doing, they were smashing those sacks of concrete over the dog, and it nearly killed him. We kept the dog in the garage because he was a puppy, and he wasn't house trained yet. So my mother kept him in the garage, uh, during that period, and that's where they found him. And then when she came home and opened the garage door and saw uh, what had happened in the garage, and uh, she was shocked. She called me while I was at work. I left work to come home or go to my parents' place, I should say, and see what was done to the house and the outcome of my puppy. But anyway, through that experience, that black lab became very hostile to certain people, and so those certain people were obviously the kids, and the skin tone told us who probably they were. And Smokey, once he got full grown, he was big. He was nearly 100 pounds. He was a big dog, and very powerful. When you have a large dog, that's one of the things that you also have to contend with, and is also why you need to have really, really good control and voice command over your animals. And I always had incredible voice command over my animals. And so, anyway, Smokey ended up being a great guard dog, and I mean, scared a lot of people when you see a dog that big and he is angry. I mean, he is angry. There's very little that you can do to stop him. I mean, this dog went through 2 steel security doors. I mean, steel security doors. He destroyed them when he went through them. So that's why I have big dogs, and I meticulously train them and manage them. And if you see a lot of police officers, canine officers, their dog goes home with them. It doesn't get left at the station or in a pen at the police station. These animals become our shadow, and my dog is like a shadow, and that's what I want. Pandora, the dog, my Amstaff that I had when I was first on the street, she was like a shadow on me, and she was very quiet until she didn't need to be. And she was very intimidating. You looked at her, and then she just very calm, and she'd just come sit by my side or stand by my side, depending on the circumstances. But anyway, the city of Oakland is just in a bad state right now. All the lawlessness. You can't cross the street without being nearly hit. We have drivers all over Oakland blasting through red lights, stop signs. So our kids aren't even safe, crossing the street or riding their bikes. Like I said in a previous video, my wife, when we lived in the Grand Lake area, after a couple of experiences riding in the bike lane around Lake Merritt, she said, "I'm not riding the bike ever again around that lake. It's too dangerous." She was nearly hit, several times in just one bike outing. And now you have robberies running rampant since COVID, and it's only gotten worse because stupid Mayor Shang Tao, Nikki Fornutado Bass, Carol Fife, and Rebecca Kaplan all said, defund the police, defund the police, defund the police. What we see now is what I expected because of those stupid comments that those stupid politicians made. And they need to be removed from office. If we don't get rid of them through recall, we vote them out. We vote them out. That's what we need to do, because this has gone on too long. Our seniors are at risk. Asian seniors are even more at risk. Even just walking on the street, they're getting hit for no reason. They're not even being robbed. They're just targets of violence. And then our businesses are being bombarded with criminals stealing from them. And so we're losing all of our businesses here in Oakland. And why would anybody want to come to Oakland to enjoy sports with so much crime? So losing the A's is another symbol of the rampant and out of control crime here in Oakland. Thanks for joining me today. We'll be right back.